Alright guys, so now the Sharks have moved on to the second round. I really wanted to talk about the Sharks previewing the series a little bit more. I won't be able to make a Game 1 recap video, so if you're going to be wondering tomorrow, or if you're watching this on Thursday, wonder why I'm not making a video right after the game, it's probably because I wouldn't be able to get to my computer in time to watch it. I'm actually going to be far from campus, doing a few things on Thursday night. It's a big night for me, so bear with me there. But I do want to talk about the series before it starts. You know, people may say you're scared of the Red Wings because they're the Red Wings. They're a good team. But you know what? In reality, you got to beat the best to be the best team. And that's what the Sharks need to do. I don't care, whether we face the Coyotes or the Red Wings, we got to learn to beat either of them. Because we know we have the talent, but it just doesn't come together. Do the Sharks want to win? That's the bigger question, of course. It seems the Sharks haven't wanted to win the past 5 years when it comes to making just winning in the playoffs. Can they stop the weapons that Detroit has on offense? They still have Hank Zetterberg. They still have guys like even former Shark Brad Stewart has turned to role player. They have Brian Rafalski, Pavel Datsyuk, still good. These Detroit Red Wings are not dead in the water like they once were early in the season. This team ended on a hot streak, and that's how they got to these playoffs, was because they ended so well right after the Olympic break. So props to the Red Wings for that. Also, I forgot to say for the last series, props to Craig Anderson for the goaltending he had, but Sharks came through when it mattered. That was a good thing. Yeah, I still have allergies, so if I'm sniffling, bear with me there. Thomas Holmstrom is solid, even though he's old. The big thing from the Sharks is defense. Will they stop the weapons that Detroit has, as I mentioned before? Also, will the Sharks' first line step it up? And yes, I am referring to Danny Heatley, Joe Thornton, and Patrick Marleau all on the ice at once. We really have not seen anything from that line, with the exception of a few assists and one late goal by Patrick Marleau. There really has not been any production from this first line, and it's very depressing to see that. We've been carried by the second line, Joe Pavelski, Devin Setaguchi, Ryan Clough. Those three have really carried us on the pretty much throughout the last series. Specifically, also Joe Pavelski, who's been scoring the goals at the clutch. Seems like when he scores, we win. That's like an automatic almost when Pavelski does it. Will the first line step it up? Because lately they've been poor. We really need to work. That first line needs to get his head in the game. Specifically Joe Thornton, He's been the one known to not do well in the playoffs. And it's either we got to demote him to the third line and move up one of the other guys to the first line, or almost just not play it. It seems he doesn't even want to play well in the playoffs. Is it nerves? Is it a mental game? I don't know what, but he's like the best regular season person out there, and he hasn't helped lead this team playoff-wise. Very depressing. Good job to Dan Boyle for being able to handle that own goal and move on from it. He scored early on in the next few games. Scored a goal in Game 4, had an assist in Game 5. Game 6 scored a goal. He also handled the media pressure too when they interviewed him. He answered every question, handled it like a class act, and I think we can all put that own goal behind us. The good news is I actually watched some of it and laughed at it just because I can't. It was just kind of nice to look back and say, okay, that's our bad memories, but we won the series and we move on from it. Can the Sharks have the mentality to want to win this? Can they defend the weapons of Detroit? And will that first line finally play to the potential we know it has? Because we know they have the talent, and we know that they can do high scoring, but that first line has not been productive, as said before. Probably some of the biggest assets is even the fourth line. I think you'd be surprised. Scott Nickel, Manny Malhotra, those two guys quietly have probably the best work ethic on this team. Malhotra being a good asset to the team. But Joe Pavelski, probably the best player right now in the playoffs on the Sharks. We'll see if this Sharks team contributes or not, but Wow, it's really hard to take in that the Washington Capitals just got knocked out by the Habs, or the Montreal Canadiens. Props to the Habs for doing that. Let's prevent any of these embarrassing exits throughout the series, and let's beat Detroit, shall we? Let's go Sharks. We'll see you all later, and I'll be making post games after Game 1. I mean, I can't make Game 1's big, but after Game 1 I'll be talking more about the Sharks, so we'll see y'all later.